Okay.
All right, now, well, it's 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order and approval of the agenda. We don't have a flag up here, so we'll just go right to approval of the agenda.
I just have a couple of things that, under the manager's report, I would like to just report that I've had conversations with one of the gentlemen who previously owned one of our tax-acquired property. I just want to fill you in on that.
Yeah.
And then I would like to, if it's okay, to add the application for the catering permit that I submitted to you tonight and the poll permit. They seem kind of straightforward to me, so hopefully they
Okay, under
for you.
manager's report.
We'll put that in a new business. Yeah. Oops.
And I'd like to, I got a planning board report and an RSU 21 report.
Okay. I'll do that on the committee and board reports. All right, I can stand.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, John. Sorry. Grab a couple chairs, come on in. We're intimate tonight. Hey, John. Hold now.
Yeah.
I brought you. Yeah, I think we got great.
Yeah. Okay, there's an agenda right there, if you'd like to have an agenda. And we are working on approval of the agenda with the amendments.
So moved.
And second, all in favor? All right, and with that, I vacate the chair.
Not quite.
Yep,
Not until we elect.
and election of officers.
Motion.
Tom Daly. Right, who's next?
Yep, next is chairman.
Before we vote,
Yep,
you've deferred a number of times. Do you have any interest in serving as chair?
Not now.
Okay.
I still work too many hours and I put the
Okay.
time in that's required.
Oh, yeah.
okay, so who you nominated, I'll second that. Any other nominations? And all in favor of Tom as chairman next year? Tom? All yours.
Awful nice of you.
Okay, then move on to the election of a vice chair.
I nominate Dan Dubois.
Second?
Any more nominations? Seeing none? All in favor of Dan as vice chair? Oops, sorry.
Yep, yeah.
All right, and lastly, position of secretary of the board,
That must be Jason.
Jason.
I make a motion we nominate Jason since he's not here.
Any more nominations? There being none, all in favor?
There you go.
There's our boards
Thank
for
you.
our officers for the ensuing year. Okay, next on the agenda is public forum. And we have at least two folks here to bring an issue that's not on the agenda already.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. We just wanted to come here. We didn't really know where to start, so I wanted to kind of I spoke to Jason a little bit before the meeting, and he recommended that we come and talk with you folks and kind of explain our situation, where we're at, and see if you could provide us any guidance, or maybe you guys are the ones that can actually help us. I don't know if you guys were familiar exactly where Mackenzie Way is. It's right off of Troutbrook Road. I brought a map kind of showing our kind of stance on everything. It's right on the line of Arundel and Lyman. The first half of our development is within Arundel off of the Troutbrook side. There's a few homes once you cross that line into Lyman, but we are currently a private development. Our addresses on the back side were assigned a Lyman address, and the residents on the front were assigned a Arundel address, which obviously means they're split between two different school districts.
Yeah.
So at one point we considered having the towns take over the roads, either Lyman or Arundel, so it didn't have to be a private road forever. I don't think we got much comments back on that, but we wanted to come today as a private road and as a private development. I see many other developments that have mailbox clusters at the end of the road, keeping it a private development, private estate, whatever classification we need to call it. Would that change our whole development's address to Arundel? Kind of reuniting. We're a close group. There's only a few homes in through there, and all our kids play together. And just having divided amongst the middle would be very difficult for us. So we're trying to keep our community close and being able to send all our kids to the same school district.
RSU, oops, sorry.
RSU 21.
RSU 21 does have children who do attend school in our development. Next year, my son will start going to school. I only have one, and then our neighbors the year after. So it's kind of a weird divide and a weird situation, but we do pay taxes in Arundel. A portion of both of our homes is in Arundel. So we do
I
pay
kind of
taxes there.
outlined my plot. She lives right next to me. You can see the dotted line. It cuts right through our backyard. And my wife and I had a meeting with Katie Hawes, superintendent. And she was obviously very black and white in the issue. She understood our position, and I think she kind of agreed to an extent with where we were at. But she's like, if your address says Arundel, then congratulations, you're all coming to school here. But if it doesn't, then, you know, it is what it is type thing. So I've just seen a lot of other developments in our same situation where all the addresses are at the beginning of the road. We also have a close family friend that lives in Brunswick. Her driveway starts in Freeport, her mailbox is in Freeport, and then her kids went to Freeport High School. So I feel like there's a lot of situations that
We
occur
actually
like
pay
this,
Arundel taxes
and
too,
we pay
so.
Arundel taxes as well. So I just didn't know, we want to start with you folks and see if you had any guidance, thoughts, opinions, comments.
The superintendent's position is that if your address, even though you don't live in Arundel, if your address is Arundel, you're permitted to go to RSU 21.
Yes.
Because of our circumstances.
Because we do still pay taxes in Arundel.
We want to do the right thing. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people would say they're
We don't want to make up a
Someplace that
PO
they're
box
not.
or
We
do
wanna
anything.
be-
Yeah, we want to be honest and upfront. And when my wife and I originally built, we bought the land, it was between the two. We talked to the other superintendents that were no longer in office anymore. And they said it was something that would have to be considered because it was kind of a unique situation, and that's why I wanted to come to you today, as a unique situation. And I don't know what steps, this is my first meeting, I don't know what steps that means to get an address change, or if we would even be considered for that. Like I said, I wanted to start here tonight and ask the question. and see.
What's your address now?
In Lyman, but it's Mackenzie Way in Lyman.
Okay.
And
But you're in Arundel.
we pay taxes, our lot's split right down the middle.
Right down the middle,
You
okay.
pay
Right.
taxes because.
I pay-
But your house is in.
It's
Lyman.
on to the Lyman side. That's right.
Are both of you that way?
Yes,
Both of
we
your
have,
homes are in
we have
Lyman,
the,
physically in Lyman?
Yes, yep.
So, right, so you're right next door to
I
him?
am,
Yeah.
just prior to him.
So this-
And your house is in Lyman, but you have property in Arundel.
Yeah.
Same parcel, same land.
And,
It's just-
but is your mailbox at the Arundel end on the Tropic Road, or is your
Sure.
mailbox?
Well, that's what
up-
we're asking. Our mailbox is up into the development, and we get mail delivered from two different towns right now. We do have a Lyman carrier that comes, and we have a Arundel carrier that comes to the first half of the development.
Yeah,
but-
because the Arundel carrier would come to the one off the Tropic Road, the Lyman carrier would go to the one off.
There is no other
There's
access
no
other
off.
than Trike Public. So that
Trout.
Lyman comes into Arundel and then comes up to our,
It's a little
last
cul-de-sac,
few-
it's like a little private cul-de-sac. There's no two accesses, it's just one access. And that's from Troutbrook,
Yeah.
from
so it's
Rundle.
only
and
accessible
ours.
through Arundel anyways.
Yeah.
But the Lyman sends their postal carrier down to
our
deliver
last-
mail?
For the last few
Houses.
houses.
Well, they must, because that's in Lyman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
House here, that house is in Lyman. that
There's
house
what,
is in Lyman,
five?
that house is in Lyman.
Yeah, I think 5 down that end, yeah.
so you
5 or
have two,
6. yeah.
you have,
Almost.
you have your own mailboxes out in front of your houses?
Out in front of our houses, which we'd be willing to change, which I know that the post service is always looking to consolidate their efforts. So if that meant cluster and we did that as part of the association in our development, then that's something we would consider, but.
I was under the
Never had
impression
this
that,
problem.
I was under the impression the policy was, maybe I'll have to check it with Katie, that if the property where the child resides is actually in another town, then that's where they go to school. So that's the issue that I have. I don't think it's linked as much to the mailbox
Yeah.
as it is to where you're physically, your home is physically located.
Okay.
But that's not the same situation in other districts.
It may not be, and I'm not quite sure. I'll have to
Right.
talk to the superintendent as to what their
And
policy
and I
is.
wouldn't know that, I don't know all the rules either, I know we have a close family friend that her house
Yeah.
physically is, most of her property is in Brunswick, and her address is off of Freeport Road, and that's where the end of her driveway is, and her kids went to Freeport High
Yeah.
School.
Yep,
Which is very similar, I feel, to our situation.
yeah,
Like I said, we're just looking for guys who want to do the right
Sure.
thing,
Yep.
but we want to send all our kids together if we can,
Uh-huh.
and kind of instead of split and divide.
Sure.
The other item that was kind of frustrating was, since it is a private development, we've been told by both school districts that bus stop will not come down our development, even though we're fire truck access emergency vehicle approved. There's a hammerhead halfway down and a cul-de-sac, which we have 18-wheelers that come down through there. Bus stop will be at the end of the road, so we're gonna have two different school districts, two different bus stops at the same location. So our kids are gonna be on opposite sides of the roads, making faces at each
Mackenzie
other,
Way.
and getting on different buses.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Way is a private way.
It is a private
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Now, we have a road over off South Street in Biddeford that I don't know if there are kids, but the house is actually in Arundel, but in order to get there, you have to go down 35 into Goodwin's Mills and then down, South Street to get to their road to go in and pick them up, because their property is actually in Arundel, but you can only access it by the other way. And I think, I know our bus was going down there, but
Mhm.
that house was located in Arundel. Even though their mailing address
Yeah.
was Biddeford, because all their mail down there comes through Biddeford. But
I would have
again, it was the
to, I would just
location
have
of
to
the
double
house.
check it. I
Yeah.
was just under the impression that the home physically was in a community, that was where the kids needed
Had
to go to school. These are unique situations,
Yeah.
obviously, with these folks, and
Yeah.
I can certainly understand and sympathize that they'd like to have, they're in the same neighborhood and love to have the kids all go to school.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure we can accomplish that for you.
Well,
But
we're
I'll
just looking
find
for,
out.
I guess, for information, and
Yeah.
I didn't know if that private way, I mean, we considered
Right.
petitioning to have it taken over as a
Sure.
town road, whatever, but if it worked in our advantage, we would certainly take that ownership on and keep it private.
Sure.
But
If
if
that
you
made a
would
difference.
petition for a private, to take
Town
the
road.
town and take over, the town would only take over the part that's in Arundel.
Yeah, we'd stop plowing at the Lyman
We wouldn't
line.
go into
Which
Lyman.
just sounds so silly to
I
me.
know.
Yeah.
You know, no offense to you guys,
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
But the other thing is,
Yeah.
can't Katie get with the superintendent, and I think they've worked some of
Yeah.
those out before.
The superintendent agreements.
Superintendent.
Yeah, a
Superintendent's agreement.
superintendent agreement that allows the kids, now, I'm not sure from a cost perspective where that lines up, but.
her, and we met with her, so she informed us that the superintendent agreement would only be, it wouldn't be due to geographics, it would be due to if our child needed services in another district that they couldn't offer.
I see.
Or severe bullying, or an instance where they couldn't go to that school. Simple geographics wouldn't count for a superintendent agreement. However, if our address was Arundel, then that's where it would stop. She's like, if your address is Arundel and that's classified as our whole development as Arundel, then that's where your kids would go to school.
Yeah, I think if you petition to have that road made a town road, we would have to get together with the powers that be in Lyman to see about them compensating Arundel for plowing the Lyman section of the road.
Right.
Because it is our plows that go through that area.
Sure.
Lyman's
But that's-
plows stop there on the hill road by the big yellow farm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
the two towns kind of come
Yeah.
together there.
Yeah, but Roger plows like on Hill Road, he plows into Lyman for
Yeah.
all the way, it's just a turn.
Yeah, just a turn around.
And they would go, but he plows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to have an agreement between
Yeah.
two towns
Yeah.
That's a
for
piece of
for a
cake.
particular
Yeah,
section.
section of road.
That's a different issue, but right now is, how do we, let's assume what Katie has said is true. How do we change somebody's address? I guess you got E911 to work with too, right?
I'm not sure how that's set up on Mackenzie Way.
Right.
Yeah,
Because we
how
passed
it's
another,
numbered.
we passed another road on
On the way here.
On the way here.
Limerick Road.
on Limerick Road that all their mailboxes are right at the end. Granted, I assume that whole thing's in Arundel anyway, so it's a moot point, but
Right.
I know it's been done before. But
Yeah,
I don't know what that means as far as once the address has been assigned, how is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's assigned by E911, and, you know, if all your numbers from, if Mackenzie Way in the Arundel end starts as, say, number 1, do they stay even and odd all the way up through the whole?
There's enough
thing?
spacing between them, so where it changes from Arundel to Lyman,
It's
there's
still-
still a gap and it's still consistent throughout.
The numbers are consistent.
Yeah.
So if you had one
There's
big,
10 spaces between us.
so if you
we're right
had
next
one
door,
big,
and-
one of those big set of mailboxes
Yep.
out, it would have to be out on the, off the Trollbrook Road.
Yep.
And would the post office then want everybody in that development to get their mail there?
Mhm.
It would be delivered by, they'd all have
Arundel.
an
It'd be
Arundel
going
zip
through
code.
Arundel, right,
That would be a post office decision.
right. And I have an email into
Yeah.
one of their,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what if the
Persons
resident doesn't
about-
want it? What if the resident wants it right at
Yeah.
their door, right in their
Yeah.
driveway? I mean, usually those mailboxes are part of, when they do that, it's part of.
Out of a
like,
development, and everybody has to have one.
Right, association or.
Yeah,
we do have an association, we do pay association dues.
I
Her husband
certainly,
is the president,
But
I-
it's
and we-
spelled out.
and we can, yeah. I'm
I
sure.
certainly don't mean to be harsh, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that the taxes that you pay to the town of Arundel are pretty insignificant compared to what you're paying to Lyman if your home is in Lyman. So we probably have excess acreage that we're taxing you for, not quite sure what that is.
Not a lot.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by the mailing box thing. I
Yeah.
have to look into that more, to see if that is any significance to the entire argument.
We said we're just looking for information.
Sure.
I appreciate you guys' time tonight.
Yep.
And any guidance or advice or any feedback you can give us would be appreciated. If it's
I
an
don't
option
think
in any way, shape, or form, great.
Yeah.
If it's not, then we certainly respect that, but,
Well, I think we've gotta get an answer
Yeah,
from
let me
Katie
look
Katie
into that.
Oz first.
You can just email me with your information, and then,
Okay.
I'm just town manager at arundelmaine.org.
Just town manager?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
town manager.
Town manager, yeah.
There's no name, no-
Yeah.
nothing else.
Nothing
town
else.
manager
At
at,
arundelmaine.org.
Yeah.
And send me your email address and information, and what I'll do is I'll reach out to Katie tomorrow
okay.
and see.
I can send you some of this documentation.
Yeah, okay.
I'll write it up for you, I guess, what we talked about tonight. And
Excellent.
your name again, was sir?
It's Keith.
Okay, thank you very much, Keith.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
I
it.
think the other things you two have to do is, well, you gotta consider, I mean, if you change your addresses, everybody's address is gonna change, and that has an effect
Yeah.
on everything you do, so,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
just keep that in mind.
Or would it just be, we also have a hammerhead right at the Arundel Lyman line. Would it just be the houses across at the end of the Arundel development?
I don't know.
I mean,
think
that's something
a-
we could
no,
consider.
I think
Yeah, I
it's a
mean,
post office.
Post
That's a post
Yeah.
office question,
Yeah.
okay. I did ask them, I actually worked with them on another project where they
Yeah.
provided guidance on mailboxes and locations, so I sent a question to her as well.
I would
before
think
came
they'd
here.
much rather just have everybody in there's mail come through Arundel, because then you've got one mailman going there. Their mailman has to come down it comes down 111 as far as the little restaurant there, that's the line.
Right.
Then they have to come back down and go down the top.
Just for continuity,
Yeah.
it's pretty much simpler.
Yeah, I would think for they'd stop right there, because I think Jason's address is Arundel, and he's right
It is.
there.
It
The,
is.
the bank,
Your selectman if it wasn't.
yeah. Well, no, his house is in Arundel. You could have a post office box in Kingdom Porter and Biddeford, but, the church, it was a church, the bank,
Mm-hmm.
their address has gotta be either Arundel or they have a post office box somewhere.
I think that the best, to me, the solution here is that, have that discussion with Katie.
Yeah.
I think you can almost, because of the way it's set up, and this is truly a unique situation,
Yeah,
right?
you never come across it.
And,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Katie wasn't open to this, but
I know it's a very desirable school district that you have here, and I know she's at capacity. I'm sure she has a lot of people that are fighting to go to the school district over some other ones.
there
I'm sure there's some.
there is room in all the schools.
Right.
Well, there we go.
That
That's all I wanted to
should
hear.
not be an issue.
I worked
Okay.
for the town of Kennebunk for a long time, so
Your
I know.
husband too.
And my husband, so we're both police officers.
There you go.
We love it, so hopefully we can send that with our neighbors.
Yeah.
You can keep that.
You
if
don't
like.
teach in the school system, do you?
No, I'm a police officer. I know, that's another thing we
Yeah.
had talked about, so.
My wife's a nurse practitioner at Maine Medical Center. I'm like, do you need a school nurse? And she said, no, even that wouldn't.
Yeah.
She wasn't biting on that either. So.
She's very,
Yeah.
which is fine,
Black.
I respect that.
Thanks, I'll get back to you both.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Public forum?
Nope, that's the only agenda.
Thank you.
We're gonna see
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you. Night now.
Thank you.
Minutes of June 12th.
I didn't see anything there, so I'll make a motion to approve as written.
I'll second. Go ahead.
Motion made second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Yeah.
It's approved. Meeting board reports, Dan.
All right, so let's start with the planning board, June 22nd. First item was Branch Brook Fuel, a conditional use application. It's a proposal to install a bulk oil storage facility consisting of three 20,000 gallon number 2 fuel tanks and one 12,000 gallon kerosene storage tank in an existing fuel storage depot located at 14 Old Sawmill Lane in the DB2 district. There's various tanks that are already on the property now. They asked for 11 waivers, pretty insignificant. The board approved all of those waivers, and they set a public hearing for July 13th. Next item was Pave Tech Corporation Contractor Yard Conditional Use of Pre-app. Proposal for the establishment of a contractor yard 2 operation for an existing paving contractor business located on an interior 5-acre parcel. This is Stilfen Lane, and just a point, the butters have hired Bruce Reed as for representation, so Bruce gave his spiel. A couple of residents gave their talk. They're trying to squash this all together. But the board has scheduled a site walk for July 8th. It's a Saturday at 9 a.m. Ordinance provisions. They had a workshop on equestrian stables and riding performance standards. There was lots of discussion on this about where to allow this type of use. They've broken it up into, I had to step out for a few minutes, but they broke it up into a couple of different types of use and different types of equestrian stables, commercial, I can't remember all the names, I didn't write them down, but there was discussions on what kind of driveway do we need, how heavy duty of a driveway do we need for each type. So they talked that out. I don't believe they came to any consensus on all of that. Right? They still got to work it. There's a workshop on food trucks and trailers. There was a discussion on the hours of operation. Currently in our ordinance, it says 7 p.m. They decided to change it to 10 o'clock. There was also a discussion on whether these should be allowed at all in the DB1 zone. The biggest comment was, what advantage are these for Arundel? They don't pay taxes, they just come in, and there's concern that they may take away business from existing businesses that are around. The other thing was, what about raising our fee to try to help make up some of that? What they decided to do was schedule a workshop with the business community to try to get the input from them folks to see what their thoughts. There were some board members that said that they've talked to some businesses and some businesses don't like them, and there are other businesses that said they don't care. So they kind of want to get a consensus on that. Let's see, the next item, planner's business. Private way, a 2-lot paved off Trout Brook Road. There's an application for boat storage on Route 1 next to the Eagles. And Brookside Estate, the board is like, let's go, let's get this finished. There's still some issues with lots 1 and 10. I guess that hasn't been closed yet, so the board is anxious to get that closed. So we may need to we may need some help on that to get that moving.
I've already been apprised of the issues that are still pending on that.
Okay, that's that. RSU 21. Folders all over the place here. They started off with school board awards. A special achievement award went to Jan Gibson, grade 5 C Road teacher. The Payson Hunter Award, these are awards that they do every year. The Payson Hunter Award went to Dr. James Inkman. The Sportsmanship Award went to the Kennebunk lacrosse team. This is the second year in a row that they are state champions. School board recognition, they recognized Kyle Ryan. He was a senior, he was a student representative, and he's been accepted at Duke. Pretty smart kid, and they recognized him. They also recognized Donna Gillette, who was retiring, Dr. Crowley, who was retiring, and then the outgoing members, Jeff Cole and Lionel Menard. Consent agenda items, they voted to adopt the computation and declaration of votes, approval of the annual football team trip to Camp Scalamar in Naples, annual approval of the superintendent to submit applications for grants, the annual authorization for superintendent to sign lease purchase agreements, the annual authorization for superintendent to accept resignations. They approved lease purchase agreement for 8 buses, $680,000, right around that dollar amount. The nomination of Ken Fogg as a grade 6 science social studies teacher at the middle school of the Kennebunks, salary of $42,286. They accepted some first readings on bidding purchase requirements and board member conflicts of interest and school board self-evaluation. They did a second reading and approval of nepotism, approval of purchasing and contracting staff and conduct, and then the RSU 21 wellness policy. Finance committee just reported that the 50-year 18 budget review, tuition from the TA payments that they have submitted had not been received yet, and at this point right now all spending is on target. The next meeting for that is August 9th. They also had a discussion on pre-K committee. They met with various pre-K districts. They'll collaborate all the discussions and come back to the board and try to get a finalization of that. Roundtable meeting. They're talking about some business partnerships, 8th grade community service projects, and utilizing the cable channel. And that is it. Executive session, we adjourned at 8:10 and they went into executive session.
Now that cost on the buses, did they say how much the grant was for to help pay for those?
Yeah, they did say that at an earlier meeting. They didn't say it at this meeting, but that was brought up at an earlier meeting. And yeah, I forget the amount. I might have it in there somewhere.
Yeah, I forget too. It was like $25,000 a bus or something,
Yeah.
$30,000 a bus.
That's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Town managers report.
Yes, I just want to give you a quick update on the status of the fire station. It appears that we've been able to get to a number that both the general contractor and colonial adjustment felt was a reasonable number to repair our facility. Came in at $52,741.42. I said to them that, I told the Peter Reisberg that was okay. He's going to submit that to the insurance company. Hopefully we'll get a check here soon on that. Now that I've looked at some of the bills tonight, I'm going to have to readjust the losses that were in the building. I reported to you that it was $2,869.62, but I'm seeing over $3,000 there. So for some reason, missing $1,000 there. So I'll have to contact Mr. Reisberg again and indicate to him that we have further adjustments that are necessary within the losses that we had in the building. Right now, the general contractor is working to obviously reframe the exterior walls, the interior walls between both, as well as that exterior piece has been reframed. All the associated electrical and wiring has been completed. The insulation package has been installed. The plumber has come and taken care of the spigot that goes to the outside. We're still waiting for the exterior windows to be delivered. They were, I think, 4 weeks out. They're probably 3 weeks out now. So once they come, they'll be installed. And our plan is to button up those two bedrooms and move on to the kitchenette. We still have some to address the cabinets within the kitchenette that have sort of pushed up against the stove. So we'll address that issue. After that, it's a matter of buttoning that up and taking care of those issues. It'll bring us to the exterior, and what we really want to do on the exterior, I think we'll come back to you when we're ready to do the exterior. There's some schools of thought about eliminating the veneer, the brick veneer that was on the bottom of the around the entire building, but obviously we focus on the dispatch area, the bedrooms, and the main meeting room area. Maybe eliminate them and come in with some sort of exterior sheathing that would call with the ground and eliminate that veneer. And then move that from a cedar type of apple sheathing to a vinyl, and completely vinyl everything, and then vinyl the trim work, so we have something that's virtually maintenance free for us to maintain. So when we get to that point, we'll come back to you with some sort of thought. I'll wait for the GC to get to me with cost associated with that. He believes that the cost for the veneer will be similar to what it would cost for him to do the vinyl on the outside. So that may work out to our advantage. It appears that it's talking to the entrance coming in, and we may be, I think they've pretty well shored up the entrance. We're still discussing of whether or not the whole entrance door assembly needs to be replaced. Pretty expensive. There's some schools of thought that we may be able to redo the windows, I'm not sure, or the glass that's in the door shuts properly, and it's, all those kinds of things are going on with it. So it may be just a matter of reglazing, I'm not sure. I'll report back to you when I have more about that.
Are there different levels of vinyl? I mean, if you're gonna put vinyl on, I know that when I've gone to the home shows, they have people that do siding, and they have, you know, some vinyl, and then they have some vinyl that looks like cedar shakes, and they're, you know, thicker. They're not what I call this type of vinyl.
Good question. I'm sure there are
There
different types of applications. I would think we'd want something that would be durable. and
Durable.
last.
You get
Sturdy,
vinyl
yeah.
that looks like cedar shakes. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, it's amazing what they can do now.
Yeah.
So. But they're gonna pay for that.
Yeah. So I'll wait for the GC to give us some good estimates as to where we're gonna be with that. Also to let you know that there's a public meeting scheduled in Lyman at the town hall to discuss the eastbound passing lane that they're looking to propose between Route 111, on Route 111 between Route 35 and Thompson Road. So that's scheduled for Thursday evening, this Thursday from 6 to 8 at the town hall. So if anybody's interested, I'm planning on going, just so I can hear what that's all about, because not only are they doing that, they're going to do something westbound too, between Route 35 and Old Sawmill Road. So they're putting in two there, and I don't know where Old Sawmill Road is in Lyman compared to this, so I'm
Yeah.
curious about that.
I
So,
don't either.
I travel that road every single day.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
And I haven't seen
Isn't
Old
that
Sawmill Road.
Isn't that at the bottom of the hill there? Because there used to be a sawmill way out back there.
There still is.
Yeah.
The
Isn't it that?
sawmill's halfway up the hill.
so they're
The
going
old
to do
Spang
it.
sawmill?
Huh?
The old Spang one?
No,
No.
John Kimball,
Oh, right. Okay.
Kimball Mill.
Yep.
Okay.
Spang was up on the corner of Day Road.
Right.
Right. This is a 1 mile eastbound. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
That would be about right.
Bottom of the
Okay.
hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to be
Maybe Old
discussing
Sawmill
that.
Road might be
So they're gonna-
Kimball's
yeah,
entrance.
Yeah, so they're gonna take 111 back from seems to me years ago, I remember 3 lanes, and then that was too dangerous because they were always having accidents in the middle lanes, and then Route 1 was the same way. So then they took it down to 2 lanes, so now they're gonna bring it back to 3. What goes around comes around.
I guess, huh? The other thing I have on there is the status of the town office functioning on July 3rd, and just wanted to give you, as you know, the 4th is falls on a Tuesday, the 3rd's a Monday. I have several of the town staff that have already taken the 3rd off, and I provided it to them before I really looked at the dynamics of it all. So I'm going to be fairly short-staffed on the 3rd, and my thought was to close the office to the public and provide the ability to folks who wish to take the day, if they have the time, to take it as a vacation day. If not, they would come to work, and I know most of the staff have plenty of work that is not based around public utilization. So my thought was to provide that option in the event that you folks approved it. If not, then we'll be open on Thursday, and I'll be there, along with whoever else we got left.
As long as you put up on your signs early enough,
Yeah,
it'll be
let
closed
people know.
Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. All right, very good. And finally, I visited most of our tax-acquired parcels, and up near Tire Warehouse, the large 33-acre piece we have there, there's several pieces of equipment that remain on there. I reached out to the previous owner, Mr. Roberge, and just reminded him that, you know, we're in the process of selling this property, and I had a phone call from a person calling for it as an advocate for him, Mr. Patrick Fagan, who indicated that Mr. Roberge still thought he owned the property, and is there any way that he can regain ownership of it again. I indicated to him that we acquired that property. The last time he paid any bill was in 2011, so from 2012 to 2017, we haven't collected any taxes there. Several notices have been provided to the owner about working with us to regain ownership. I just expressed to Mr. Fagan at this point that it's still up to the Board of Selectmen as to what they will do with that property, and that if there's an interest in Mr. Roberge to regain it or to continue to have it, that he should submit a bid, as everybody else will be submitting bids that will be opened by the board on the 10th. So I told Mr. Fagan that I would express that to you, so that you knew that there was some sort of interest there, not how extensive it is. He indicated that Mr. Roberge is getting a little older, and they're looking to try to consolidate some of his properties. So
What if he came in with a check to pay everything right up? Would that take it out of the sale?
I don't think it would take it out of the sale at this point. It would be an option that you guys could
Right.
consider.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of been our policy.
Right.
Yeah.
If they can
Yeah.
pay they
Right.
turn it right back to them.
Yeah, if they pay everything up, then,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right, I mean, it's obviously would be your option, and,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody came in with the previous owner came in with a check to pay full amounts, I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
certainly
Mhm.
recommend that you
Yeah.
guys go ahead and do that, because that would be
Yeah.
the right thing to do.
That probably explains why, because I noticed that some stuff got put on that property since we've acquired it.
Right,
That's why I mentioned something.
Right.
It's like, that wasn't there before, you know, and
yeah, I went up there, I mean, there's a box truck, there's an old van, there's 2 flatbeds, one, according to Rogers, over 20 ton. The other flatbed has a wood processor on it with a conveyor belt there. So when I expressed to Mr. Roberge with my letter was just to say, you know, this property that's owned by you, you may want to remove it, because we're gonna
sell it.
I've had a lot of inquiries about that parcel. So I think we're gonna have a lot of bids on it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. So to me, the only way he would be able to keep that property is if he came forward with a check for the same thing everybody else has to do, the full amount of taxes.
right, whatever
plus
penalties, whatever
penalties,
recordings,
everything,
and the
yeah,
whole nine yards.
everything, yeah.
He didn't express that he wanted to do that. They were looking more for a payment schedule, and I indicated to them that would be on that at this point.
Yeah.
So, we sort of left it at that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to old business. Purchase and sale agreement with respect to the Plymouth Road property.
Yes. I believe in your packet I provided the latest version of the purchase and sale agreement that I had sent to the owners. After our town meeting, most of the ownership was in my office. They found that the purchase and sale, as far as they're concerned, is agreeable as written. I said that and they're willing and able to sign it. I said I can't sign it until the selectmen provide authority to me to sign it. If there are any changes that you want to make, then obviously we can try to make them. And for us, it's all contingent on everything else that goes along, as I explained to them in my office, that the collaboration agreement needs to be signed. Whatever association that ACT is having with the owner that they're trying to get an easement for, that has to be all agreed to. So I indicated all the dynamics that were there. I reached out to Sebago Technics, put them on notice. They've updated their work they need to do there. They had put a significant amount of topography on there. When I spoke to Tad, he said that we really didn't need that at this point, but we got the wetlands delineation, the survey, and the vernal pool identification. That would be significant for us at this point. Maybe test borings and the soil analysis need to be looked at as well. And then I reached out to our attorneys to determine who we should be contacting for a proper appraisal. As you know, our purchase and sales contingent on the fact that we have to get the appraisal at the rate that they wanted to sell it to. So they put me into property valuation services out of Portland. A professional, I wrote it down. In any event, it was a company that Bergen Parkinson had recommended Scott and recommended it. So I thought maybe it was a reasonable one, unless you or anybody else has somebody else that I can reach out to and try to get appraisal for. They seem pretty confident that we do a good appraisal for us.
So they go gonna do the entire process?
Yes.
Should we see about having our ACT friends participate in the cost?
I can ask.
They're gonna end up with more of it than us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they should, seems like they should participate
Yep.
in that cost.
I certainly can ask. I guess the issue is, what do we do if they say no? Are we gonna go ahead and do it anyway? Or do you wanna hold that in advance until I find out more?
I don't think they'll say no.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, they want it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to them. So unless I hear objections, I would really like to see maybe perhaps a motion in a second to give me authority
I
to sign.
think you've got to change some dates here, though.
Okay.
You're not gonna get a title done by this Friday.
I thought the same thing too.
And I think we need a little bit more time beyond July 15th to satisfy all these other,
Okay,
that's only
yeah, it's only a couple of
weeks down the road, and, the survey's gonna take more than that.
Yeah.
So the dates
I
are,
think, yeah, you gotta push those out a bit, I think.
Find out from Sebago how fast they can do that survey,
I will.
because that will determine when that date.
we thinking we can meet the September 15th closing date?
I think we could try.
Yeah, I think that's probably doable. I mean, I think it's subject to survey, but,
Yeah.
and assuming we don't run into any title problems here, but I don't think there's already a house there, and so I think somebody's already done title, so.
Yeah.
Is there or should there be a paragraph that says if for some reason all this work gets backed up and we don't meet September 15th, that we get an extension?
I will express those opinions tomorrow
Yeah.
with the
It
owners.
says, or if the buyer and seller shall mutually agree in advance and in writing at another time and place.
I really think the owner wants us to have it as bad as we want it, but we
They-
still need to be written in.
They do,
Yeah.
and I think that, yeah, I think they do. So I can express the times. You're talking about the June 30th, and then the other one was.
July 15
Yeah.
for all the other contingencies, basically.
Okay.
We've got to notify of a failure to satisfy. And that could be problematic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right here. July 15th, okay. If I extend those out another 30 days or so, that should be
That should be
adequate.
fine.
Okay.
Do you want a motion to allow Keith to execute this P&S agreement with those deadlines extended?
Yeah.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other further discussion? All in favor of that?
Thank you.
And you'll get a hold of Sebago and find out how long it's gonna take.
We'll get them right in there, ASAP. They seem kind of ready to go.
Okay, under new business, baseball fields are in front of us again.
Do we need to do something about the Sebago Technics expense?
I don't think
I
so.
think we gotta get that contract signed first,
Okay,
okay?
all right,
Yeah.
And then,
Then we can move
Then we
on
can
with the
move
rest
on.
of it.
all right.
Yes, we had a request from Mr. Burnham, I believe he's here this evening. Talk about allowing the Little League fields or the Gillian Field to be utilized by kids travel baseball. It's from what I can gather, it's an activity that the smaller age group is primarily made up of Arundel kids, and then the larger group, which is also looking to maybe have a couple games or scheduled games there in practice, is made up of at least 2 children that are from Arundel, but it's more of a Kennebunk team. I guess Kennebunk allowed or embraced our kids last year, and our kids played in Kennebunk and that kind of thing. So it's almost like a reciprocal type of request. The Arundel Little League has also approved this and has provided, I think, you an email
Yes.
from Kenneth Dwayne indicating that they're behind this activity, that most of the coaches are associated in part through the Arundel Little League, and the Little League is going to allow them to use their equipment to maintain the facility, so on and so forth. So, as we did before, we were looking for approvals through the Little League prior to allowing anybody to actually use the field. Mr. Burns here tonight can answer any general questions you may have.
You know, based on the letter that we get from the Little League, I move that we allow them access to the field.
That's second.
for purposes of the discussion, I think we ought to get a process in place where there's an application made to the town to utilize the field that ought to be approved by probably a rec director, and it probably should be approved by, I mean, we mow the field, so if the kids are out there, you're gonna need the field mowed perhaps more than we otherwise would. Roger ought to be involved in that.
Yeah.
But I think we ought to have some, just like we do with everything else, Jim approves after. But I think that, we need a process.
You get an application process?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the first group that's gonna do that application process is the Historical Society, because we're working with the Little League to have an old-timers baseball game on July 30th, where the Little League is going to be taking care of the field, and they're gonna do the concessions, and the Historical Society is going to be charging a nominal admission for the team that's gonna come in and play old-fashioned baseball. I understand they play without gloves, and it's like they played back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
a
On the
team.
Little League field?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I guess
any
home
field,
runs-
they'll actually play,
Softball.
yeah.
I
They
guess
will,
home runs don't count.
No.
If I may interject, they do, the vintage baseball game will actually not be played on a baseball diamond. It
Yeah.
will be played in the field towards the back.
Yeah.
They do not want bases, they
Yeah.
do not want a field lined, they want a field to play baseball.
yeah. Same way it used to be, just any old
That way
field.
they can back up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, any old field.
Okay, cool.
So,
But for purposes of this
Yeah.
request, I guess we have a motion and a second to approve this, and then going forward,
do an
we'll do an
application
application
process.
process. Any further discussion, anybody? All in favor then?
Thank you. You all set?
Thank you.
Good.
You're welcome.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So now we have a hydrant issue with respect to Bentley's campground conditional use permit, or conditional approval.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I understand, I received an email from Mr. Light. Evidently, they're looking for what agreement the town will make in terms of the placement of a hydrant in and on that, in that area as part of their conditional approval for his campground. I went up there and took a look at the location. I'm of the opinion that option one is the best for us, in that the hydrant would be located on the Route 1 right of way, as opposed to being on Bentley's private property. It would allow us to have access to it all the time, especially during the winter time. If you go by Bentley's in the winter, that's all snow covered. KKW takes care of making sure the hydrants are well taken care of during the winter time. Part of this whole process, as I understand, is also a policy that for the first 3 years of the placement of this would be the cost for it would be incurred by the owner who's looking, or the business who's looking to have the hydrant placed. So in this case, we would be the submitter to have the hydrant there. They would pay for it for 3 years, and then after the third year, it would become the responsibility of the town. So the other option there would be to put it on Campground Drive. I think there's still some issues there as to if the 20-inch tap is close enough, or if they'd have to do some more construction in order to get the proper location to come in off his road. And then it would be the responsibility of Bentley and the business to maintain and pay all associated fees forever and a day. So really, it's up to you folks as to which one.
Yeah, so option one, there is no cost to us.
No,
It's just a yearly fee.
correct,
Option two, they pay for it. Bentley's would pay for it.
all the time,
All the
because
time.
it'd be on their private property.
But they might close it off in the wintertime, because
Yeah.
that property is closed in the wintertime, so there's no advantage to having a live hydrant that you can't get to.
Yeah, well, I
I mean, if we'd go to option two, we'd certainly make provisions that that
Yeah.
hydrant stays open.
Yeah.
could do that.
But I prefer option.
Option one costs us nothing except,
The
doesn't
year.
cost anybody anything except the maintenance fee.
The annual fee.
Option two, having installed a few hydrants, option two is gonna cost somebody, if it's in there 40 feet off the road, it's gonna cost somebody $10,000 for installation.
Yeah.
So, with that, I think option one is the right one to
Yeah, I
go.
do
Yeah.
too. Even though we're gonna incur some expense 3 years down the road, as we do with all the hydrants, I think that it gives us the option to have it where we need it, and where it's available to us at any given time.
Well, I know the closest hydrant is at the corner of the Log Cabin Road, and Bentley's is on the correct side of the road to run that, because the one by the Log Cabin Road's on that side of the road.
The next
Then
one
it
is
would
up
be
above Weirs, as you go down the hill. There's one right next to the, I can't remember the name of that little store that's right there on the left, just past the Weirs on the left.
Oh,
There's
the,
another hydrant right there.
okay, wow, so Weirs is gonna be right, they'll have 3 hydrants within a mile.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to be every 1,000 feet, so when I sort of pace that off, I'm somewhere right around Bentley's campground exit,
Yeah.
entrance into his
Yeah.
property. Somewhere right in there
Yeah.
would be where that hydrant would be placed. So we, give or take wherever it needs to be,
Yeah,
within that, wherever they find the tap is where the
Yeah.
hydrant would be.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we go with option 1 and that you formally contact KKW of that.
A second.
How many hydrants do you have right now? Do you know
We have
total?
12. Yeah, we're gonna be 13, so it's gonna be 13 grand at some point.
Right.
We just, remember, we added that one up to Southern Maine Marine, it never got placed, and we gave authority to place that when we had 11, so then we went to 12.
Well, if we got enough money for a second comp, we can show the $4
Yeah,
fire hydrant.
Now, John.
Hydrants are an important piece of protection.
Yeah.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve option 1. Further discussion, all in favor? Okay, renew the payroll policy that allows one selectman to sign the employee wages and benefit disbursement warrants.
So moved.
Second.
I'm not gonna do that because I'm usually the one signing it, so.
That's your choice.
Yeah, I know.
I've been called before and
Yeah.
I've come down,
Yeah.
so, you know, if you can't make it, don't go out of your way.
No.
I can find a way to get down here. So.
Yeah, I'm around all the time.
Sure.
I've come in and signed a few times.
Yeah, usually they go
Yeah.
after Velma
Yeah.
first, because
Yeah.
they know she's generally right here, so.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yeah,
There you go. So,
Okay, next item is to renew the adoption of our code of conduct. Does everybody have a copy of? Thank you.
Do we need a motion for that, or do we just sign it?
I think we generally make a motion to
Yeah, I would
adopt that.
motion.
I make that a motion.
Motion's been made
A second.
and seconded to once again adopt our existing code of conduct. All in favor? Okay, the annual appointment of town officers, which include Deb LaRoche as the animal control officer, Teddy Myers as the assistant animal control officer, Jim Nagel as building inspector, code enforcement officer, and electrical inspector, Jim Clement, the electrical inspector with respect to commercial property. The EMA director is Randall Tarniff, fire chief, Arundel Fire and Rescue Bruce Mullen, freedom of access officer, our town manager Keith Trefethan, health officer Randall Tardif, plumbing inspector James Nagel, and the registrar of voters, tax collector, and town clerk Simone Wasson.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
So,
Okay. Selectmen committee assignments for 2017-18. I think I have appeals board. Didn't I have that last time?
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah. So I'll take appeals board, and I'll take assessment review as well.
I think we're all on the budget board.
Right.
Yep.
I think you and I, Dan, are on the
Comprehensive plan.
comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
Did you have planning board, Phil? Or did you?
I had planning board, but if you
Yeah.
wanna put Keith,
No.
both Phil and I.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't do all of them. but-
Right.
And I was on, fire and rescue.
Okay.
I'll still keep the finance committee.
All right, wait a minute, slow down just a little bit. Planning board's gonna be Phil?
Phil and Dan.
Phil and Dan?
Yeah.
And RSU Finance Committee?
I'll take that.
Elmer?
I'll take the directors.
You'll do
I'll shoot them
directors?
on directors meeting.
And Dan. And Phil, you're gonna do the Rundle Fire Rescue ad hoc? Okay.
What's the whole building?
I think
Town
that was
hall?
Town
Town
Hall
hall.
Building Committee. That must have been,
There was a town hall building
okay.
at the time.
Yeah, so obviously we're gonna make it.
We'll all be on that one.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's comprehensive plan?
Me and Dan.
Great. I thought for sure that would all say Selectman Neto, seeing he didn't show up.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right, he's not on any of these.
take one, take a blank one, and put his name in every space, and send it to him.
Yeah, we gotta get him involved.
Okay. Review and approve payables.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yes.
I also have those other two items that I added.
Okay, the first one I have is a catering permit for Lucky Loggers Landing.
Yes, they'll be doing the catering. It looks like it's going to be held at
Cape Arundel Practice.
Arundel Practice Field for the Battle of the Bridge Golf Tournament. All the necessary paperwork seems to be here. And been signed. I would make a recommendation for a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made, seconded. Any questions or discussion?
Now, has anyone seen the building over at their new Cape Arundel practice field?
I've seen it. Haven't been in it, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
All in favor then? Okay.
Where's the pole permit?
So,
Proctor Road.
Yeah, the pole permit's on Proctor Road. It's at the end of Proctor Road. There's a person's putting a new lot in, so they're gonna have to extend another pole. It's been reviewed by staff and they've approved it. I would just need a motion and a second to approve the location permit. And sign.
So moved.
just wanted to take a look at this.
Yes,
Yeah,
he does.
He did, okay,
He does.
okay,
I have one here that he signed.
okay.
I have it. Provided me his initials. Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made, second to approve the pole location permits. All in favor? Okay, is there any other business?
just got fed up of watching TV.
Could you hear?
Yeah, one more.
So speaking of that, have you done anything at all to see, probably not, because we really haven't talked that much about it, but to try to work something to get a better sound quality from for the TV, for the YouTube?
I have not. I sort of felt the last direction you provided to me was to do nothing. Based on the discussions we had with the budget board and the selectmen about the cost that was involved. Now, if you wanted me to look at sound quality, I can certainly do that, because that may be something that we can do right in that office, in that library.
Yeah,
But I'll look
sound
into
quality,
sound.
whether we look up, I don't know if that has capability or not, but whether we look up a wireless mic that connects to that.
Okay,
Or maybe another camera with that you can also hook up.
Yep.
Sometimes you can buy the wireless stations that, that probably pick up a little bit better sounds.
yeah,
I'll do a little bit of research too to see if I
Okay.
can. A while back, I had done some research and found some things that we never did in there, so I'll look at it.
Yeah,
Just
what kind of money are we talking?
a couple $100,
Oh, okay.
If
Even
you
if
if you
we
get a
replace-
camera, then it's gonna be a little bit more,
Yeah.
but,
I wouldn't say it'd be more than $1,500, would it?
no.
Okay.
No. I mean, some of these mics are expensive, they're directional mics, but I don't think we really need to have that. I think if we put like a mic in the center of the table, that might be able to,
Okay.
I think you can buy a fairly new camera with a mic and everything for like $600 or $700.
yeah.
Okay.
But if we're just looking at sound and live with this as far as the video feed goes,
Yeah,
Should be a
it'd
hell of a
probably
lot
be
of
nice
money.
to upgrade the camera. I mean, the camera's probably been around a while, and the battery, even though we got another battery, it seems to be working fine, but.
Yeah, if you do something with the camera, then we can look at, making sure that it's got it, and they all have inputs for mics anyways, but, there's a bunch of things that are out there today that are available, so.
Very good.
You need a motion to adjourn?
I think we do.
So moved.
Whoa,
There.
tie.
Hey,
Motion's been made twice.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll second this motion.
Old
Good.
number, yeah.
I'll send you some. Or you can, yeah, you can put it.
Yeah, no,
Okay, good.
exactly.
Thanks, John, I appreciate
Good
it.
night, John.
Hi, Bo.
Good night.
All in favor, motion to adjourn.
Yes. All right.
Thanks, guys.